Welcome to American Black Journal. I'm Stephen Henderson. As the fate of 25 struggling Detroit schools remains up in the air, the community continues to weigh in on this hot-button issue. The Detroit School Board says it's going to sue the state school reform office to prevent the closings, and parents are concerned about the dwindling public school choices for their kids. Young people in the Neighborhood Service Organization's Youth Initiatives Project are also expressing their opinions about the impact of school closings on their community. Joining me now is the Youth Programs Director, Frank McGee, along with Detroit student Asia Sparks. Welcome to American Black Journal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Asia, I want to start with you. You're a student at Osborne Preparatory Academy
Yes.
in Detroit. What year are you in there?
I graduate this year.
You're going to graduate this year. But I wanted to hear you talk for a little bit about what your school means, not just to you, but to the community there in Osborne. That's a place that's changed a lot over the last 5 or 10 years. There's been a lot of effort to build up the community around the school. Talk about what would happen if that school went away.
Okay, so I'm a senior at Osborne, and it's very important for our school to remain open. The community will get really bad if the school was to close. We really do rely on this school because we live close to it, and it would be very hard for transportation to go to any other schools within the community. So it's very important for us to go to this school.
If that school weren't there, what school would be the next school you would go to?
They're telling us to go to Ann Arbor.
Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
Which 45 miles away from
And it's
there.
already hard for us catching a bus to schools now.
Right.
And it'd be even more harder just going to that school.
Yeah. Talk about some of the things you remember over the last 4 years as reasons that you feel so strongly about your school.
Okay, so I used to go to a performing arts school. So I've been in Osborne for 2 years now. And I'm really liking it. I'm really loving my school. I'm really good for the education. I really love my education, and I really take it seriously. And it's very important for me to get my education and the students around me to get it.
Yeah, yeah. Frank, the thing that I think people don't get about these school closings is closing a school is not just closing down an educational institution. It's closing down a part of a community, and it has an effect on all the different parts of that community if you do that. And Osborne is just one of the examples of that.
Exactly. If you take the corner of 7 Mile and Hoover, where Osborne is located, as an example, there are several businesses. And obviously, as you go to school and come back from school, they frequent those businesses. And it's food, of course, candy, what have you, getting gasoline. We can go on and on, even getting your phone service. Imagine if Osborne closed down. It directly impacts those businesses.
Right.
And we haven't even talked about the neighborhoods. The quality of life begins to change.
Yes.
And before you know it, people will have to take their children elsewhere to attend classes. So that impacts the community itself, and to a point where many people will end up moving. And we can't have that in our community.
You work with young kids from all over the city with the youth program. Talk about what you're hearing from them about their concerns. How fearful are people feeling about this idea that the schools might close? I
can start with the letter they got from the SRO.
Yeah.
And when their family or their parents opened up that letter, and they read it in shock to find out that the school is going to possibly close. And then told that an option, of course, would be 45 miles or so away or more.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. But when a child hears that and he or she is in a 3rd or 4th grade, imagine the trauma that's caused, where you're actually thinking, is that bad where I actually have to leave Detroit to go to class?
To go to school.
It's scary for a young person to hear that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so the anxiety goes up, the sense that the purpose starts to change. The sense of purpose changes because guess what? Well, I'm just going to do enough to get by because the school's going to close anyway.
Because they don't really value this this community. I mean, and that really is the message that we send to these communities when we say we're going to close your school. It's not just saying the school's bad. It's saying we don't value you as a part of this larger community.
Right. And so a child.
And this is a message. That's a message that these kids hear
Right.
a lot, not just from schools.
And they'll misinterpret it from the get-go. And so our role is to empower our young people to be leaders and to provide an opportunity for them to have their voice heard.
Yeah.
And in no way in these discussions have we been able to hear the voices of youth.
Yeah.
That has got to change.
And so you are trying to gather those voices, give them an outlet. Who are you directing their speech to, though? I mean, who are you trying to share their voices with?
State representatives, in particular, the voices should be shared with the governor as well. Last year, our youth put together a petition advocating for equity throughout the area, so that what happens in the type of support that's given outside the city should be given also to the youth themselves. But what's really key is working with different organizations. For example, 482 Forward. Our young people are part of that organization as well, getting the support and training they need to move forward with this issue and have their voices heard. And so their first step, of course, is being able to have a press conference in front of the school. And it brought a lot of attention to their issue. And after that, they took a trip to Lansing to make sure they met with the state representatives.
Right. Asia, if you could talk to the people in Lansing who are making this decision, what would you say to them?
I would say that it's very important for the people with the problem to be involved, because we are the ones that are struggling. We are the ones who are facing the problem. So it's very important if you include us, because I mean, it is our problem.
Right.
So it's really important for them.
Do you feel like they've included you so far in this at all?
Not really.
Yeah.
Not really.
I mean, has anyone from Lansing come to Osborne to even look at the school and see what's going on?
No.
There? Yeah. Do you live in the Osborne area?
Yes.
Talk about what's going on there and what you think would change if the school went away, just in terms of the community.
Okay, so if the community was to be shut down because of the schools, people will move away, the businesses won't have customers, and we have like a restaurant across the street and from our school, and we always go there. Like, they love us because we spend money there and stuff.
Right.
And if they were to close down a school, that business will never be there anymore.
Yeah, and there's been some efforts in recent years to help make that neighborhood stronger. I mean, there have been some blight removal efforts over there. There was, I think there's some parks that have been built and things. It's headed in the right direction. This idea of closing the school would maybe jeopardize some of those
Definitely.
things. Yeah. All right. Well, Frank McGee, thank you as always for being here.
I'm an advocate for our young people.
What's your anticipation in terms of, as we get up to this date when they say they're going to make the decision, how much of the kids' voices can you get to the decision makers?
We're going to get as many of them as we can,
Yeah.
because they've been ignored through this whole process. And it's always been the case when adults take the reins here, and you don't also include parents.
Yeah.
You don't also include the teachers. They figure into all this.
Stakeholders.
And these are the stakeholders. So before the actual plan is put on the table, let's have them involved in help shaping it.
Yeah.
We have to do that.
All right. Thanks very much for being
pleasure.
here. Good luck to you as you
Thank you.
graduate and go on to do other things.
Thank